how would you grade the offense at Family Day?
My takeaway is that it's refreshing to hear a head coach be that honest and be willing to call out a unit that struggled yesterday. They had 2 good practices. Like Saturday was the last time we were out there. Then right before they had the player day off on Friday was the long session on Thursday that went about 2.5 hours, the deep ball session. The deep ball was, looking really good that day for Caleb Williams and honestly every quarterback that we saw out there. So the fact that it looked like a little bit of a step back yesterday, but not a cause for massive alarms, I thought Ben articulated that really well, while also holding guys accountable, saying it's sloppier than it should be at this time through 10 practices, that they're at a point now where they've got a little bit more of the install left. They should be starting to get these things. There shouldn't be as many delay of game penalties that you're seeing. There shouldn't be a safety taken on a drive that starts at the 1-yard line. And, yeah, that's a really hard situation for any offense that's backed up. But I think that he's not relenting off of them, which is a good thing. So to me, that's refreshing because we've heard a lot of coaches go up there, whether Family Fest, whether any other Bears practice, and try to sugarcoat it and not try to actually tell you what they saw or what went wrong. And there were a lot of hiccups yesterday for the offense. And you can absolutely say that the defense won the day at Family Fest, but to finish strong in the 2-minute drill, I thought was a good momentum boost for Caleb Williams and the first team unit. But it's this point of camp where position battles are going to start to solidify a little bit, where you should start to see the offense have good days in a row, because if they have multiple bad days in a row, if they're making the same mistake multiple times, which Johnson said he noticed a little bit of yesterday, then that is concerning, because we're 2.5, 3 weeks into this, and they've got to start getting it. And I still think that there's certain things that Ben is seeing that players aren't truly grasping just yet, and maybe that leads to a change in approach, a change into what they're doing as far as teaching it, as far as how they're deploying it on the field. But it was a day that did not look great for the offense outside of that 2-minute drill and outside of a couple throws, the touchdown to Cole Kmet on the misdirection, and the throw to J.P. Richardson from Tyson Bagent.
Courtney, as far as Johnson at the podium and the things he said, I'm curious if you think he's just completely just speaking off the top of his head what he sees and relaying it to you guys, or are there some messages within the stuff that he's talking about?
It's some of it's definitely calculated, Jesse, okay. And I think that doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but it's not like he's going out there throwing anyone under the bus. Mm-hmm. I do think that he has the sort of mindfulness to know how to get the most out of his guys. Like Caleb has talked about this at the podium, where there's the moments where he'll be held accountable, but also others where he'll get built up. I think any player needs that, just to know that, wow, practice may look terrible, but the sky isn't falling. Not everything is terrible, even if it looks bad. So I think he takes that approach with him to the podium, and you'll notice this throughout times where we're asking him, what went wrong here? What about the delay of game here? What about the interception here? He'll point to the quarterback first and foremost, but I've really noticed lately he's really getting on the receivers, talking about they need to run better routes. They need to create more separation. They need to be better on their timing. He's been doing that since June, which, I think it shows you that Caleb's the most important part of this equation in making it work, but that doesn't let up on DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Olamide Zaccheaus, any of them. Like, their top 3 receivers right now have to be, their timing on this thing matters as much as the quarterback, because everything is synced up, like almost like to the millisecond of how plays need to work. It's all based on timing. So you can't say it's only one person that's responsible for it. So I think the way that he talks about the things that go wrong, as much as the things that go right, he's willing to pull multiple people into it to say, well, no, it wasn't just this one thing that went wrong. It was because it was predicated also off somebody else's error or somebody else being a tish late on timing. And I think that's what any good coach does when you're trying to not just get through to the players, but also explain to other people to understand was, specifically, were drills intentional? Was there, the days that they looked awful in the red zone early on in camp, and some of the pressure periods where Caleb would have been mauled by Montez Sweat. They talked about the intentionality behind that to peel back the curtain, because, there are a lot of people out there who have cameras, who are at Family Fest in practice, who think they know exactly what's going on with some of these drills, and they don't have a damn clue. And that includes us. That absolutely includes people who have credentials to cover this team. So to understand the why behind something, I think Ben has done that probably better than any coach I've ever covered, to explain to justify what's going on in a specific play, and not just like what you see that pops up on social media that could paint the picture of somebody's day as good or bad.
So are you concerned by anything you've seen at camp? Offense, defense, special teams, culture? Is there anything today that if ESPN, your editors, called you and said, write what you're concerned about, would you say, I don't really have any concerns, or you do?
No, I do have concerns because, like Ben said, you're 10 days into camp. Some of the same stuff that's plaguing the offense, the delay of games, guys not lining up in the right spot, Caleb trying to change the call at the last second, and then they get flagged and they're moving backwards. Yeah, that is concerning. I mean, if it was day one, install one, like we saw on July 23rd, you chalk it up to it's the first day of the install, that stuff's going to happen. It shouldn't, but that stuff's going to happen. The fact that stuff's still happening, I would say, on the level of 1 to 10 for concern, I don't know, you put it at like a 4, because that's the stuff that can hurt you in games, and it's going to be a lot louder and a lot more chaotic when they're on the road. And if they can't get lined up properly, that's going to be a problem. They have to be in Detroit week 2. Like, you don't think that place is going to be loud, and if that stuff isn't ironed out now, that isn't going to be a problem. So I think it's measured concern, Cap. I don't think it's, wow, this thing isn't going to work out. Like, we're not seeing any signs of progress. But when you're seeing these things after they've been cleaned up, like the last 2 practices that we saw, kind of a mixed bag, I would say. More on Saturday, it was a shorter practice, heavier red zone emphasis. But like the practice before, on the Thursday, when it was a long practice, they were really getting the deep ball going. You didn't see those same sort of pre-snap errors that were, just prevalent yesterday. So I would say that is a concern that they showed back up again.
Left tackle battle. I'm a Braxton Jones person, but does it look like he's getting passed up here?
Well, I mean, Karan's his injury right now doesn't help his timing in this, because they can't wait around. So to me, I think it's a 2-person race, which we probably knew that it would be these 2, Ozzie Trapillo and Braxton Jones. From, if you were to look at this at the onset, say who do you think it's going to go down to, I'd say those 2. It makes sense. But Trapillo got most of the first team work yesterday. There was one team series that I noticed where Braxton Jones was in for all of it at left tackle, and then the rest was Ozzie Trapillo. They say it's still a competition right now. I would look at this and say that Trapillo has the edge, just simply based on the amount of work he's getting. And now that you're about to go into this joint practice with Miami on Friday, and there will be a lot of time for some team drills and all of that. I think, to go against Jalen Phillips and the other first rounder that they drafted, I think he's playing right, on the other defensive end right now. Like, you want to make sure that the guy that you think is going to get the most run the rest of camp and probably be your answer is getting the work against their best of the best. So I think right now Trapillo's ahead. It's pretty obvious when you're looking at who's getting most of that first team work. The order in which it's coming in now is becoming more consistent. With Trapillo starting out with the ones for the last couple of practices and getting the majority of the work there. But it's unfortunate that a leg injury has seemed to kind of naturally put Karan behind those 2 even further.
So let me ask you about the Micah Parsons fiasco going on down in Dallas, where he posted a long statement, eloquent, just said, I want out. I don't want to be here. I want to be traded. And I'm tired. This morning I saw somewhere he's tired of basically being maligned when he's injured, and shots he feels that he doesn't deserve to take when he plays through injury and pain. So, A, do you think he gets moved? B, do you think the Bears would and should be involved despite the cost being massive?
Number one, I don't think he gets moved. And it's frustrating that it gets to this point every single offseason when there's a big contract extension on the table in Dallas. I don't know why Jerry does this. I would love for somebody to truly look at the numbers of the amount of times the Cowboys are mentioned in in sports media and pop culture. And truly, if it is something that affects the bottom line in a positive way, to be dramatic in this Swarman fashion and have them in the news for the wrong reasons, because there really is no other rhyme or reason. Unless this is bringing him in money somehow, there's no reason for this, because it does affect the locker room. It does wear people down on the team, on the coaching staff, in the front office. You can't tell me that the way that he does business is good, even though all these deals end up getting done, and Micah's will get done too in Dallas. I don't understand the logic behind it, other than narcissism and treating people whose salaries you pay like they're commodities. It's an old school way of doing it. It's outdated and it's wrong. But on the other side of that, do I think the Bears? I've seen the trade proposals. People, I mean, the low-hanging fruit here is just copy and paste what they did for Khalil Mack back in 2018. That's cool. I don't think – here's the question. Do they have a quarterback in Chicago? I think you've got to have that answer emphatic, 100% yes. We are ready to compete with Caleb Williams right now in order to make that move, to give up multiple first-round picks, to give up to extend Micah Parsons out and give him the contract that he wants. I don't think they're in position to do that just yet. So I don't think so. That's my personal take on it. Like, does it fix any of the issues? Does getting Micah Parsons fix any of the issues that you have or questions that you have right now about the quarterback? No, it does not. And he's an incredible player. He's 26 years old. If they lose him, which they won't, but if they'll play along, if they did, they're looking for his replacement for the next 10 years. And the incurring team would have an absolute star that they can play anywhere on the defense, like in the front seven. But I do not believe that the Bears would be the right fit for him, just given with this team and where they are right now.
So if they said to you, Jalen Johnson and your next 2 ones, are you doing it? No shot, right?
I mean, no, I don't think so, because they've got to cap. What happens if they need those ones in the coming years for a quarterback?
Agreed.
Let's say. Like, I know that people don't want to hear that, because there are a lot of people who want to believe in Caleb and people who do believe in Caleb and believe that he's going to work out. This team is not a pass rusher away from figuring out its biggest question mark, which is whether he is a franchise quarterback that can win you games and be the reason you win games in Chicago. I do not think that they are a pass rusher away from being a Super Bowl team right now.
And that's why let me just please bring it back to baseball a little bit. And this is what I said earlier, Courtney. I think you're backing me up. Like, to me, trading for him is like the Cubs trading for Aroldis Chapman, or more recently, the Phillies trading for Johan Duran. It's a final piece to put
yeah.
That's what I mean. If you're going to give up that much for Micah Parsons, you better be sure your team's ready to go far. And so I'm with you. I'm with you.
Buffalo. Buffalo is the team that should be calling and remaining on hold until somebody picks up. They are a piece away from getting to the Super Bowl. The Bears, respectfully, as we all agree on, are not. Like, they have to figure out whether they have the right quarterback first before you go and give the farm for somebody who takes your team over the top. That's not to say that they can't be good this year. Maybe they make the playoffs. Maybe they're a wild card team, 7th team in, or the 7th seed in the NFC. That's all possible. That could all happen. I do not think that they are a pass rusher away to hedge mortgage the future of the franchise on one player right now.
I agree with you.
Courtney, have a wonderful rest of your day. And let's hope that the offense has better days this week.
Be well, Courtney.
Thank you, guys.
All right,
Take care. Bye-bye.